and I stayed at my grandparents' for a weekend. They lived out in the boondocks and an area that had just been cleared and started to become developed. They were the fourth house built there, but the neighborhood next to the area was fully developed and populated. One night we grandparents, aunt, myself and 3 brothers were all sitting outside in the light of the light post that was next to our house and by the still dirt road. We were watching a TV that was sitting on the windowsill but pointed outside. Those were warm nights in Mexico, so we sat outside in the cool breeze of the night. Out of nowhere, we start to hear a lot of barking. The dogs from the neighborhood nearby had started barking at something all at once. The barking reached the second neighborhood, and immediately the barking became an army. I've never heard anything like it since. So many dogs barking at once, some crying, some howling. Insanity. Suddenly we realized the dogs were coming in mass down the street towards us. We all jumped up to attention and just stared down street. There, by the light of the farthest light post, a group of dogs came into view. ... And then more. And then more. The street was covered in dogs, except for one spot, right in the middle. They were all barking at this spot. My grandfather quickly grabbed his shotgun and walked right towards the mass of barking chaos. Though it was a wild animal the dogs were chasing. He was one light post distance away when he stopped, put his shotgun down and walked back to us. He told my grandma, "This is of no use here," gesturing at the shotgun. "This one is on you." My grandmother was an extremely devoted Catholic and carried her Bible everywhere. It sat by the TV, and she rushed over to grab it and quickly looked for a page on it. The dogs reached the light post my grandfather was at earlier, and we saw it. There in the middle of the dog pack, a woman walking down the street. She got closer, and I saw what grandfather saw. She was floating about a foot off the ground. She was still making the gesture of walking, but her feet were nowhere near the ground. The dogs would take turns trying to bite her feet, but upon their attempts they would cry, as if hurt, and run back, and another dog would take its turn, ... and so on and on. My aunt became terrified and grabbed us kids. ... She tried to cover our eyes and yelled at us to not look at it. It became evident to me that this was a serious thing happening when she, my aunt, a non-Catholic, started praying. We were more curious than anything, weirded out by the scene, but not scared. ... Yet, my grandmother had started praying, and the dogs dissipated when they reached her. ... They just ran off in all directions. ... About 60 or more dogs that were still there. That's when I saw her.